the question is it worth it? I kind of believe that there should be balance in everything you do. You guys put in like 6-7 months doing this stuff for 2 Saturdays. But is it worth it? I think I'll leave that up to each individual student. I don't know, you can ask them. It's kind of like anything else. If you got to have a lot of drive, and the students, as advisors, we can kind of encourage them to study, but they have to want to do it. And I think they need to be, emotionally, they have to be pretty tough. Because, if I had to wait till I felt like doing something before I did it, I probably would not do a lot of things. Well, January we come back and we spend just an incredible amount of time right before competition.
Yeah, but like
we're going to be practicing our speeches today, and I think we're going to do impromptu as well. We're practicing for the scrimmage. No, not the scrimmage, the competition for county.
he's right there.
No, he's right here.
I know, right?
The goal, honestly, is perfection. I'm more than jacked up today, all right? But let me just say, I want you to be focused on your speech, and if you can get through this, you can say your speech, like Matthew can say his speech, and not get distracted by what Randon or Jasmine is saying, then you know your speech, if you can get through this.
Preparing for the competition requires a lot of vigorous studying.
Conclusion. The ancestors of all humans lived in Africa. This section is the resource guide presents their findings.
I had to give up a lot of, hey, do you want to hang out this weekend? Or when are you free? Or I feel like I never talk to you a lot.
I prioritized academic decathlon and I kind of didn't focus so much on the other stuff. Mr. Tong told us to do that, but no, we just gave up a lot of that.
But I had to stop going to some of my college classes just to prepare for competition. And it was kind of hard because, you have to balance your own school life, your actual school life with Acadec.
Triples, I would expect you to know. If you knew those, then you can answer question number 2. And then we practice interviews. We have a day in the library where they are interviewed 4 times in a row by different judges, and they are evaluated.
Is definitely the competition you feel in the classroom, especially within your own category. There's the varsity, scholastic, and honors, and whichever category you're in, that's definitely the biggest competition between those 3 people.
Because you can only have about 3 people per each division, it's very competitive. There's 9 people total. So having to fight for that, knowing that you have to study constantly and prepare for that to make sure you're a part of what you work so hard to get to, it's definitely very competitive.
In the end, it's always the amount of effort that you individually put in. So yeah, definitely our egos can be hurt sometimes if we don't do as well as we plan to do. I'm not in the camera mood right now. I just messed up my speech. I'm like so sad.
Because everybody thinks they're better than everyone else, but as a team, you have to put that aside and just know that what you do together is what really matters in the end. And so we put aside our egos and really worked together and got over our divisional competition and did our best.
This is why we're having them. It takes a while for everybody to get into sync, and that's what you're going to have when you have county competition as well. Yeah. Because you have judges that are even less experienced than the ones that you have here.
He's not here yet.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now I'm gonna go take another nap.
They asked me about, what did they ask me? They asked me about, like, define honesty, and I was like, I don't know how to define honesty.
It's like, there's so many choices, like, why this question?
That's why they give it to me.
Exactly, that's...
It was just a very fun experience. You get laughs out of it. I know laughs in something super serious, but everything is going to go the way you want it.
That's kind of one of my favorite things about Acadec is that amongst your peers in Acadec, your team, you get to be at like a family, like a happy little family, you know? You hang around like a campfire studying.
You really get to know one another really well. You know their tics, their likes, their dreams, their aspirations. So I really did feel like I made some really good friendships thanks to this class.
Mr. Tong, to most people who aren't in Acadec, is just the math teacher here. And he tells the class, at least Acadec, that we're the reason he gets up in the morning and comes to work.
1, 2, 3.
My glasses fell off.
What's it like to keep the streak going? You know, I will admit it, there's a little bit of pressure. You know, I always say that academic decathlon is kind of a byproduct of what we do at middle college. And middle college is about academics. So it stands to reason that a competition that is academically based, Lemoore Middle College should excel.
Hamburg, the breakfast lines of Hamburg, Con, Story, and Conway.
It's hard to overlook the fact that you're defending a 6-year championship.
But being able to keep that record going, that's where the pressure comes in, and you have to keep pushing and pull through and ultimately just show other people that this is what we're known for and this is what we commit to.
And so he reminds us every day, he looks back at the banners over there at the medals and that tradition of success that has come from within the school.
But you have to want it as bad as Mr. Tong wants you to want it.
Let's go, Martinez!
1700s, largely because of the importation of mustard. Time is up.
Boy, Will. Let's take it home, Ian!
Use that because that's an indicator to employers or schools or whomever.
I don't want to break that tradition. It's kind of like you always feel that people are always staring at you, whether it's the school, especially Tong and Mrs. Bankston. You have that pressure looking at you, and it's intense. But you know, in the long run, you have all your peers, and it's a team sport, and the team will always help elevate each other.
Good homie times right now. Good homie times.
Scores will be posted as soon as they hit the town.
Man, I'm so good. I feel so good.
You too. You should have told me that you loved me before we went out.
I did. I was like, I love you, man.
No, you can't take another one, Mr. Tong. It's on Snapchat. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Thank you. Wait, more.
When you're competing and you feel like you don't know any of the questions, but you actually do, you feel a sense of pride in yourself that you actually did it.
Just getting that feeling of satisfaction, that knowing that, hey, I had to go through so much to get to this point, but I managed to succeed. That feeling that you get when you know that all your effort was worth it.
Everything about Acadec was worth it. It was a lot of hours, but in the end, you get a lot of medals, and you get the friendship from the class.
You have to do that.
It's a video, you guys can just wave, whatever you guys want.
Yay, good time.
You get to know Tong at a whole other level, and he's no longer that crazy math teacher. He's that old Asian guy that yells at you if you don't do well and cheers you on if you do really well.
Oh my God! This is to our middle college homies, right?
It's an example of what you can do with the work you put forward, and I think that made it all worth it in the end.
Nicholas Valentino, Lemoore Middle College. William Young, Jasmine Oliveira, Matthew Martinez, Benjamin Guerrero, Ian Parra, Josephine Andrade, Natalia DeSouza, Christopher Acevedo, Brandon McWhirter.
You get to this excitement that you fulfilled something in your life, and you know, when you have an incredible coach, such as two coaches in fact, Mrs. Bankston and Mr. Tong, and you have an incredible teammate, I think, you know, it was all worth it.
And our top team score combined with Super Quiz for a total of 48,618.3 Lemoore Middle College High School. At the state level, representing the Kings County, representing Kings
County. Straight W's for life. Yes. 6 times in a row. I love Acadec. Acadec's for life.
But aside from that, the medals that we got, the applause from everyone else at middle college that came to watch us compete, the pride I seen in my parents and my grandparents, my uncles, my cousins, everyone that came to support me, it's definitely a big moment for me, definitely worth it.
It's still part of my No, we played with
Oh, it was all worth it. Acadec is one of the most rewarding, amazing experiences I have had in my high school career, and I wouldn't change it for anything, really.